because I still had the mute button on. I could have sworn that I hit the mute button. I was all checking my audio. But anyway, hello, and welcome to another One Lion of Code. I am One Lion. Thank you for letting me know. We are in Halloween already, apparently. It's looking out a dark window, waiting for a jump scare, apparently. I hope there's no jump scare. No, it's actually just trying to load the window swap scene. I don't know why it's not. There we go. And now we are looking out a window somewhere in Mumbai, India, in September of this year, around 1610. Yes. More like lag. Wait, am I lagging? My computer has been doing some weirdness. So, yeah. It seems like it's connected to Wi-Fi and not Ethernet. Are you really in the metaverse? Technically, yes. Not the way that people are trying to define it in recent times, but yeah. Just the background. That's a scary costume. I am lagging wearing a spinner on your shirt. That would be awesome. What I've really wanted to do is make some kind of AR thing on my bot that allows you guys to change the content on my shirt to, of course, pre-approved things, but you can change the contents on my shirt to any of these funny sayings or an animated GIF. I say GIF, but you're allowed to say it however you want. And I am okay with however you say it because I know what it is that you're talking about. Anyway, hi, welcome in. Hello. I haven't even started. I'm falling behind. So just before the stream, I had a nice conversation with a friend who was helping me get some information from a project that I was working on previously. And so I'm writing a source generator again. And I didn't want to have to redo all of the research that I had done, even though I had been researching it over the past 3 or 4 work days. And yeah. All right, we're authorized. Join chat. Start there. Thyrovius, can you please start the LLM? And look, there he is. Hello, Zaid. I might be starting work tomorrow. Awesome. What kind of job? What kind of stuff are you doing? Tell me, I pre-approved. Where is your sense of adventure? My sense of adventure is planned spontaneity, I believe is a technical term for it. Hopefully you can hear me all right. Over the weekend, I was using my microphone for other purposes and I messed with the gain on the back. Trucking, I remember you saying something like that. Okay, start the LLM. We're definitely getting chat, so that's good. So let's do project. This is the project that I work on stream. It's open source. It's on GitHub. We're in a branch called Task 52 Revamp Layout. We're well on our way to completing that. We just need to finish the last bits of it. Planned spontaneity. Oxymoron. Well, it kind of. I mean, you can... I'm sure if you thought about it hard enough, you'd understand how it works. Oh, perfect. Loading LLM model. We are using OpenOrca. Load. So may as well take you to the desktop while that's loading. This is what I was trying to use for my sample, which I thought that I had been following the same process essentially that I did on my other project, and I had a lot of it here, and that helped me to research and look up the things that I had used before in order to find out how to do a source generator. But I didn't get very far on this one. Um, like the actual reference to the project itself should have been here with the project reference, and then tell it not to reference assembly or something. Anyway, I did figure all that out before bothering my friend. But they got me the rest of the way there. I was super duper stoked. That's right, I said stoked. So anyway, that's not to do with our current project, although having the source generator project available here would be a good resource eventually. The thing that I'm doing with my current source generator is, if you were here for Friday's community day stream, what are words even? You would have seen that I was seeking help coming up with ideas in how to make a rules engine, essentially. And so I have a whole bunch of rules that are going to have their own way to be applied to transform an input set of random fields into a concrete class, essentially. So going from Excel workbook to a list of concrete class, a list of objects. And one of the things that the UI is providing is a way for you to map values from the source column to the target property / column and transform the value before outputting it into that destination. And I'm calling those rules, and I would show you the actual code for it because it's a lot easier to see. But we will be doing Finan Man, so I won't pull it up. But anyway, we have the target rules, and the way that I was starting to do it is I had an enum where you specify the rule name, give it an attribute, and specify how it's supposed to display in the UI, or not even how it's supposed to display in the UI. You can use the attribute enum member or display to get the name and description information for that particular rule. But instead, what I'm doing now is I am generating the enum based off of classes that inherit from a base class that has name of rule, description, and how to apply it, the apply method. And I like that much, much better. And the reason I made an enum out of it is so that I can save rules to the database and then be able to recreate the rule. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do a type of, so that we can also get back the concrete class for the rule. Type of. On the enum attribute. Okay, we're good. We're good. Moving on then. Let's see if Automated Realms is awake. I mean, we see the actual bot response, but that's hard-coded. How about an LLM response? Morning. Oof. Oof. Take your time. There it is. Whoa! One, you are only limited to 3 messages, and then it's supposed to say ... at the end. Hello Tukasoft, and hello Reg9K and Scott. Oh geez, you almost got lost in a spam storm. Apparently there's this conversation that it kept in its head. Wow. I'm actually going to read this because I'm interested in what made up conversation we've already had. Good morning, I'm Automated Realms, here to provide a bit of humor and wit to your Twitch channel's messages. I'll be respectful and keep my responses brief but informative. What's the best part about being a developer? Thindle says, according to the bot, Thindle says, the best part of being a developer is the ability to create something from nothing and see it come to life. That's actually my answer. Don't steal my answer, Thindle. Dukasoft said, the best part about being a developer is the ability to create something from nothing and see it come to life. And then Stream Elements Stream Elements is responding, according to Automated Realms bot. The best part of being a developer is the ability to create something from nothing. I think it's trying to wow, everyone agrees. Everyone agrees. So what's the most challenging part about being a developer? The most challenging part about being a developer is staying up to date with the ever-changing technology landscape, and everyone agrees with that too. Nice story, thanks. You're welcome. It's always a pleasure to be of assistance. Automated Realms, please stop adding other people's. Actually, you know what? It's stopped doing it, so I'm not going to instruct it. It's a beautiful thing, isn't it? The ability to create something from nothing and see it grow into a living, breathing entity. Oh, man. Scott says, the best part about being a developer is the ability to create something from nothing and see it come to life. Oh, gosh. It's just breaking that barrier of getting imagination to paper. Well, in this case, typing. See, Dilly has a real response to that, and it wasn't seeing something, create something from nothing and see it come to life. So, bleh. Don't tell me what other people are going to say before they don't say it. Yeah. Anyway, where are we? We were in the midst of applying some styles. And breaking that barrier isn't always the easiest thing to do, but it's generally pretty interesting, isn't it? It's that barrier that helps us continue feeling the excitement to solve problems. Okay. Just making sure I didn't have anything in my PowerShell history that would reveal keys and such, because I was doing some configuration not too long ago in PowerShell. Napalm says, I once told someone in an interview when asked why I like programming, I said, it's as close as a man can get to giving birth. I think there's one step closer. At least one step closer. But yes, I see what you mean, is what I meant to say. Dang it. Working on that. What was all of that mess? That looked pretty terrible. Okay, we are working on responsive mode UI design application. And we are seeing at 9:31 our next breakpoint. Actually, no, that's a lie. We're down here at 481. And there was an issue with this, with the horizontal scroll, but other than that, everything is where it should be. I just had a power surge on this device. Hello, Thindle. You've already greeted us according to Automated Realms. Alright, I said that we were going to, at least for now, ignore the horizontal overflow issue. so that we can finish out the rest of it. Whose grid is currently visible? Yours. We're gonna move on to the next breakpoint. Ooh, there's also a clipping being done to this. Oop. Does that happen in mobile view? No. No, you did. Twitch said so. I mean, Automated Realms said so. You responded to Automated Realms' question about what's the best reason to be best part about being a developer, and it was a great answer. You know, that could be me. I blame me. No drop frames though, and we are running at 60 frames per second. See? Scott even knows that you said it. Whoa. I almost knocked the bottle over. And Andreas Ducky. Speaking of, I have you guys open here. He ended his stream just now. Just now. Or recently, I guess. Okay. We're gonna move on to the next breakpoint after we do a quick commit. I don't know why I'm suddenly looking for git changes in this bottom section. It's never been there. I've never ever went down there to do my commit messages. Why am I looking for it down there? It's such weird. What did I do? Oops. What did I do? Introduce new reel. Okay. This will work. So does anyone know if I push accept, because I've never accepted one of its messages, if I push accept, will it use this as my commit message, or will it just leave it there for me to push the commit button? I mean, I guess there's really nothing terrible that will happen if I... Oh, okay. Thank you, Scott, for giving me the confidence to click the button. Okay. Now where are we? We are at our next breakpoint, which is going to be 9. Well, does it still look good as we're growing? I really don't like the picture growing in proportion with the size of the viewport. But yes, we are looking somewhat good as far as everything did lay out into multiple columns. It's not centered, and it's most likely because of the overflow on this element. Okay, let's see if I can remember what else was there. Stop it. Close. Okay. Does anyone remember how we were planning on continuing with this part? We still have the overflow X issue on this, but just as a reminder, if we look at this in something like Firefox, we do not get this overflow X issue at all at any of the breakpoints. And I think it's because they have a, by default, floating scroll bar. that doesn't take up space. So annoying. Okay, but anyway, aside from that, the things that we're needing to do with this are get the sections centered. So let's start there. Section content, page section max width, margin 0, auto. So that's one way to get it centered. However, there is overflow on this section because the images are not doing what they should be doing. There's still something weird about this that I don't like. Although that did get rid of the horizontal, oh, except at 9:31. Okay, never mind. Just kidding. All right, well, let's go ahead and keep this. And that will be an index page section. Index page.razor.scss. And we'll put that as part of the default style. Specifically content. There was this weird thing where I have a section inside of footer, for example, and I don't want to apply these styles to that. Good. It didn't. All right, how does that break any of our responsive styling? It does not. Way down to here, still looks good. I mean, aside from the overflow X, still looks good. Okay. Tried to save it. Funny. Hero section could use some work. This section could use some work. View transaction history. So let us start top to bottom. Eroe. Should be our hero. Ooh. Okay. We want the hero section to be full width, but that's because I was expecting to put a background on the hero section, so I don't need that. What I do need is a padding. And I should have a default padding, yes. There we go. That looks good. Then our sections, I've lost the alternating section color for whatever reason. That's why I need a full width section. Let me just make sure that that rule change didn't break. Responsive. It did not. Did not. The padding on main did, however. Okay. So padding on main. On hero, sorry. Sorry. So sorry. Zero. Blood dear. Okay, so no padding on hero in those two views because I do want the picture to take up the full width. To a maximum width. Yeah, but this still works better for me this way. I'm happy with that. The thing I don't like is the margin 0 auto for the sections. It should still be full width sections. I need to figure that out. And if anyone does have any other thoughts, opinions on how the CSS should be done, then please feel free to express it. Oh, right. I think I know what it was that I was trying to do. Do you still currently have a max width? Is that what's stopping you? I was watching a video on, yes, you do. I was watching a video on something. What was Brain saying? Brain was saying an interesting, important thing. I was watching a video on full width containers. Is that what it's called? That's not what it's called. YouTube. What is the name of the video that I want? History. Best web design resources. Lots of Fruity Loops stuff. Sound design. Background tutorials. Impact sounds. Nope. CSS pro tips. Man, it wasn't that long ago. Why am I still scrolling down? It wasn't backgrounds. That's ambient music. I don't know where it went. I didn't delete it from my history. I know I didn't. Do you know what the name of the full width container would be called in CSS? Full bleed. Oh my gosh. That was such a hard phrase to remember. Okay, so there were some techniques for full bleed containers that I wanted to figure out a good technique for doing that doesn't involve, let's just make a div that is full width and then put a big padding on it. Because sometimes you want the content inside of that container to be at a specific width, but then the background and stuff to be at the full width. And so they were giving some really cool techniques for achieving this. And I'm really liking this approach. And I think that's what I wanted to do. I wanted a 3-column grid where the padding is artificial. The padding is one free space, and then the content has the min width. Yeah, so I think I'm gonna try this. And that's why I didn't have manually specified padding. So our sections already display grid. They are not. And specifically content sections, because I don't want to do this to the footer. Yeah. So let's try this out. Let us do a display grid template columns, 1FR, and then it's going to be the min of some value, which we'll get in a second. So for now, we're just going to put in a hard-coded value of 100 VW. Calc 100 VW minus, and then we'll call this our bar default padding for now. This is just like having a regular padding to begin with. Oh, default padding times 2, I guess. And then 1FR. So we have 3 columns. That is going to mess up our content because it's going to try to put it in the first column. I don't want this to apply to the hero section either. Gosh, what is hero called? Title wrapper. Wait, why is this applying to the hero section? Hero is not a section. Oh, never mind. Just kidding. I see. Padding. So then that means that I would need to tell this thing that in all cases, I would have each of these be in grid column 2. For the actual content inside of it. Good. Something is weird. Something is wrong. Section transactions section. Card wrappers display flex. I don't care about the cards. Don't care about the cards. Yeah, good. So I didn't overwrite it there. And you? And you. The pictures. And pictures. Good. So the only place that I'm specifying the width of the content of these sections should be in index. Background colors, display grid, 1FR. And then the width of the middle one is 100 VW minus padding. Why are you stretching beyond the width of the screen? Because even though I told it that I wanted this content to be in column 2 and this content to be in column 2, I forgot to tell it that I want the card wrapper content to be in column 2, so it's in column 3. My bad. That's kind of an annoying way to have to do that, though. Is that a bad idea? Oh, and the button. And the button. Jeez. What if instead we made a rule that is every immediate child is going to be in grid column 2? Come on. Let me scroll. Be kind, rewind. Save. Okay. Then there we go. That does what I wanted it to. Perfect. Right. Then we also have the issue of the button now, or the default for the child content is justify content stretch or fill or whatever. I think it's stretch. So if I told this thing justify content flex start, that might not be a good thing. Unless I am specifically telling the titles to be centered. Why didn't that work? Why didn't that work? Justify content center. Justify content flex start. Why didn't that work? You're in the section. Hello, Crap Team. Happy Monday? What day? Oh my gosh. It's Monday, guys. Feels like a Friday. Why didn't you take the justify content flex start? My grid. Talk about my grid. My grid is supposed to be justify content flex start. And in this case, like what you would expect is that we would change the flex basis because I'm working with columns, but because this is a grid, I am actually not working with columns. I am just working with a grid. And so justify content will always be the horizontal alignment. And I say always, I don't know that for sure. Is it possible to change your flex basis when you're working with grid? I don't know. I'm gonna control F5 just to see if it's styles that didn't actually get applied. No, that is not the case. Hmm. So yes, did I actually answer your question? You asked how you doing. My answer is that I am confusing myself with CSS stuff, as per usual, but also enjoying it. I'm having a ton of fun. Today I was working on a source generator for my work product, and that has been a lot of fun. Okay, brain, you're gonna have to focus on this though. I know you're thinking about work, but it's playtime. Let's play. Justify content space between is being set. Why is justify content space between being set inside of content? Where am I setting that? Here. Very weird. And it's so close. I honestly don't know why justify content flex start isn't making the button, because it's the contents inside of the button that are going to be flex start. The button needs to be in a container in order for the button itself to be flex start, or I grab the button's selector and then I tell it to justify self flex start. Go. Cool. So in this case, we actually want it to be centered and probably have a margin around it. 0, or not 0. Top and bottom is going to be 1 character, left and right is going to be 0. Boop. Nice, nice. Okay, does that break any of the responsive modes that we have already set up? Yes. Oh no, this is just the horizontal scroll issue. Okay, we did not break any of our pre-existing styles. So let's stay here for a second, take a good look at it. Are you a fan of grid display or still flexboxes? Combination. So if I am working only in one dimension, I will default to using flex. This is an exception to that case, so I am only working for the sections at least in the vertical direction. I don't have the sections split into multiple columns, but I am using the a 3-column grid so that the left column is a padding. The furthest outside columns are padding columns, and then the middle column is going to have a min of 2 possible widths. So it's either going to be the full 100 VW, or it's going to be some number that I decide. And that number should be var max content width. I have decided. So we're going to have a min of 100 VW minus padding, or the max width is going to be var max content width. Is that what I called it? Does anyone remember what I called it? Default max content width. Great. And look, it's the that's not good. It's 100 VW minus the padding left and right. Instead, I'm going to make, and I don't really ever do this, I'm going to make this max content width a fixed value. It's still going to be based off of the font size. And it's going to be 180 characters. Okay, which means if I update this to be min of this thing, nicer to write like that. Oh, I said the min of those two. Dang it. And it's most likely because right now the footer is only set to be var max content width. $100 VW. Width is going to be 100 VW for the Duca content container, content wrapper. Ear box sizing, border box, good. Any weird? Any weird? Any weird? Any weird? Any? Napalm says hi to Thendel, who said hello a while ago. Thoughts. Where? Why? Napalm says, sorry, I had to drop and come back. Someone making a mountain out of a molehill about something stupid. But it sounds like it's important to them. Man, I'm getting a lot of bot messages. Because they don't understand. Don't ask. Okay. If you insist. Let's get rid of the container thing. Just because I've never used that before. Until I can figure out this horizontal sizing weirdness. This is hero. What is this hard-coded value in hero? I need to adjust Hero because it's doing some pretty weird stuff. So we're going to find out what's going on with Hero. But that's not the thing that's causing the issue. Section background, odd sections. Default padding. Max content width is not defined. Didn't I tell you that it's default max content width? It's even in the clipboard. Thank you. You're still too large. It worked for track transactions. Why didn't it work for view history? Man, that even looks like it's going to get rid of the horizontal scroll caused by the track transaction section. So what's wrong with you? You have an issue. What happens if we overflow none? I mean hidden. To you. Does that fix the pictures? It doesn't, because I keep forgetting that I have pretty much all of the inner content for this one set to position absolute. But what then? The pictures must be getting size based off of max content width. You there. Default content max width. All right, so we're going to change this calc to the manual one that we did before. And that was in the view, this one. And this is just going to be 100 VW minus var default padding times 2 minus var picture offset left. There. And we got rid of that horizontal scroll. Oh, it's back. Well, still, it did what I wanted it to. Hello, Shano. I have seen you around in BitGamey's chat. I hope you're doing well. Crafting said, I had some trouble with viewport sizes as it didn't correctly display when virtual keyboard closed, so if Flex 1, the content was out of sight, as height of the document was viewport height plus virtual keyboard height. Ugh. Do you remember how you solved it? Did you solve it? Is that a thing? That sounds rough. So for if you weren't lurking before, Shano, or anyone else that happens to be here that doesn't know what this project is, this is a financial management tracker where I am wanting the ability to manually enter transactions for bills that I pay, for deposits that happen, paychecks, transfers between accounts and stuff like that. Actually, those 3 specific things, not stuff like that. And what I'm doing currently is I'm entering that manually using Access. So I have a version of this application that I that I made UI for in Access. I have a form, I have a SQL Server backend that it connects to and dumps all of the information to. And I've always wanted to make it into a web app, but I just never got around to doing it. And I've been using that since around 2013 or 14. I forget which my earliest entry is. And I would use an app like Mint, since they're gone. I can mention their name, to do all of this tracking for me. But what I found is I do have a Credit Karma, which is what Mint merged into, account. But I just look at the numbers and don't process what those numbers are. When I enter these transactions manually, I'm typing in, this is the date of purchase, this is who I'm paying some money to, and a lot of times this is some streaming service or some recurring bill that I might no longer need, and then the value that I paid. And so I'm seeing directly my spending habits, which helps me decide, do I really need that thing? No, I'm going to stop paying for that thing. And then I end up saving more money. I get to see how often I eat out, all of that stuff. So this is the original design of the application. The functionality of it is done. You can see it on GitHub. It's in the main branch. You could use it today if you wanted to. I wouldn't recommend it, but you could. But what we ended up doing was, this project was supposed to be showing an official developer process of a client comes to you and says, I want this type of product. You are a full stack developer. Please do the whole thing. Make me a website, a web application that does this thing that I want it to do. And you, as a developer, say, yeah, I could do that. That's easy. So my intention was, let's do the whole design process as if this was for an official product that a client came to us for. Similar to what you see TBD Gamer doing with his product, except he is actually trying to make it into a real product in the end. So because I used to be able to stream my work product, a thing that I was doing for a customer and users and stuff, but then I got a different job and couldn't do that anymore. So I wanted to keep doing that. So we came up with this project. And after finishing it, I'm like, I realized that I took a whole bunch of shortcuts that I would normally take, even in my work product, where I didn't do design, even though I had all intention to do design first, where I didn't do TDD, even though I had every intention to write tests for everything that I did. And I'm like, okay, let's turn that into a real world scenario then. You have a developer that created this product, the customer's happy with it, but they want it to look better. And so they're like, okay, thank you for your time. It's functional. We love how it works. However, we wanted it to look better. So we're going to hire a designer to redesign the UI. So then we put on the hat of a UI UX designer, and I'm not really strong in that area. So we went through this really, really long process of picking over the details and trying to figure out Figma, how it works, and creating this design for the application. And now we are implementing that design. So the client went back to the developer that originally did the app and said, we have a UI designer that created these mockups and said, I don't know how to write code, at least not well enough for this project. So can you please implement this design? And that's where we're at. TDD is a myth. I've seen you on Bits and you came in and said hello recently. I sure did. So anyway, that's where we're at. Again, this app is not intended to connect to financial institutions and automatically download your transaction history or anything like that. You are manually entering it. The thing that I would be interested in adding to this application is forecasting or budgeting or other tools like that, where you are, again, very involved in the process of what your money is doing, if that's what you want to use it for. For me, that is what I want to use it for. So that's where I'm at. So we are almost done applying these responsive styles. I think the footer is the next place that I want. Yeah, exactly. I don't want to take away from user friendliness just to add features. That's a really good statement. So Shano said, adding more and more is never a bad thing as long as it's intuitive to use. Crapteen did comment more on the height issue, and he said he did some workaround. I stored height before opening the virtual keyboard, then checked on event and redrew it. I think it was a mess. It sounds like an approach I might have taken. It's like, so I know that the on-screen keyboard is about to show. So what is the height of the element now? What is the height of the on-screen keyboard? And then subtract that from viewport height in the redraw. But yeah, since you're here, since a bunch of people are here, dagnabbit, and I haven't been doing this at all today, here's a shout out for Shano. I believe Shano is a game developer using, I was about to say Godot, but it's probably Unity. I've only been to one of your streams, as you know. Looks like Unity to me. Microsoft Paint. I will be on showing up to your stream more often, because I do love watching game developers. If you couldn't tell, the majority of the list of people that are currently online that I am lurking on are game developers. And it's mostly because the app developers that stream on Twitch usually use the technology that I am not really interested in, like Python or C#, C++, C#. I like seeing .NET developers. I want to consume more .NET. Man, words are escaping me. Content. I don't know how I lost the word content. Doesn't matter. You know what I'm getting at. I love tacos. You love tacos. We all love tacos. We can be friends. So the majority of the people that use C# on Twitch are game developers using Unity or Godot using C# for their scripting. Napalm says Python. Bleh. Unnecessary scourge. Man, that's a hard word for me to say on my career. Shano said, I just got a lot more hours at work, so my streams will be more spaced out right at this moment in time, but I will be back soon enough. Well, no pressures from me. I would love to see more of your streams, but definitely only when you are able to. I'm making satirical YouTube shorts in the meantime to build channel. So if you feel like it, please share your YouTube channel as well. And yeah, I'll be there. Napalm says a lot of Godot drama recently. Interesting. Not really interesting to me, but interesting to some people. Like Shano. Shano wants to know what happened. Okay. Still not broken for responsive mode. This is the description text for track transactions section is now centered. Should not have been. Should be left aligned. Actually, probably. I think that at the second breakpoint, where we still have this kind of vertical footer, which I need to fix the left and right part of, I think I still want the headers and text to be centered. And then on full responsive mode, on mobile view, is when I want it to collapse to left aligned. Yeah, that's pretty inconsistent there, designer. Wondering what happened to that $500 that just disappeared? Let me tell you. So Napalm is explaining someone made a minor ask for a fix and they got all crazy and banned them. We're talking about Godot being... I don't think I'm allowed to say that phrase. Apparently now. So Godot banned someone from their stream on Twitter. He's like, I know I didn't really clarify that, did I? So I'm going to go ahead and clarify that now. Index is where I'm trying to go. We're trying to find where I have the content being centered. Not centered. The content being flex start. And I want that to only be in mobile view, which means that I need the full selector for index page, deep section, and Shana says, oh no, that's not going to be good for their image. I like Godot enough. I recommend it to most newcomers who are scared of the bigger engines or have underpowered computers. But Godot is not for me in general. I used it for a game jam and found a major bug in the animation timeline bar on my first day. So you had a really bad taste in your mouth to begin with. Section title is what I'm looking for. Ooh, and there is a Reddit post. With a response. Again, I'm not really interested in that topic, but anyone that is, you have the link there to be able to see it. X.com Godot Foundation, says Reg9K. Okay, that fixes that. But also the hero sections text. Title wrapper. Narrow hero. Yeah, I still think that I do want the hero text to be left aligned, but that does not look good. I think I want to do some more work on the hero. We'll have to go back to the design. But yeah, so essentially as soon as we get to the mobile size and it goes left, I really need the subtitle wrapper. Is that what you are? Yeah, section subtitle wrapper to also be justify content flex start. It was, which I guess means that we can what is that? Start please. We can just combine these. I don't know why I needed to fix that before erasing it and combining it with this one, but I did. Okay, that's better. Das ist much better. Shauna says, in most engines, if you right-click and use WASD, you can move around the preview scene. Yep. But if you have animation timeline open, you can't move around scene to get better perspective on what you're animating without the animation playing forwards and in reverse, even though no hotkeys are set. So like when you hold right click and you try to use WAS, then it scrubs through the animation timeline, I think is what you're saying. So things move all over the place unintentionally. It makes it almost impossible to animate anything in a 3D scene, if any of that makes sense. Yeah, definitely made sense then. Yeah, so it does kind of make you wonder if they do have another way for moving around the scene that maybe you're just not used to yet or at all, or is not intuitive, which also makes it not really usable if it's not intuitive and you have to switch your brain. Like, I'm in Godot, so I need to be doing it this way, as opposed to I'm in anything else, so I can just right click and watch. Okay, I fixed that. Yep, we're at the larger size. Finally, we are at the next breakpoint size. Cool. And the only thing that I need left on this breakpoint size is the padding in the footer. So let's do that. Footer. Footer is somewhere else. Oh, it's here. I have it open. We need a padding. Nope, we need a selector first for the footer itself, which is footer. Padding. Do we really want a padding in the footer itself? Let's find out. Padding is going to be, let's just do a character, top and bottom, 0 left and right. See what that does for us. Nothing at all. Why didn't that change a thing? Because we're not in medium, we are in the next one up. Media, min width. No. VP large min and max width. VP large max. And in fact, this is going to be, that was right. Anything that is above this size is going to get a padding of 1 character. You're thinking of adding a gap in the social links. Maybe that makes sense. The issue is that the social links UL is not display flex, is it? It is. Interesting. Why isn't that working then? I got disconnected and reconnected to the chat room, so hopefully there was no extra chat that I may have missed. I don't think there was. I think we're fine. Why wouldn't you give me a gap between elements? Between elephants? Elephants. Oh. I'm not able to send messages. Yeah, that happens a lot. Yeah. That's been happening a lot lately. I'll send a message on someone's stream and it's like unable to send message. It's like, but and then you're like, I don't want to send it again because what if it did actually come through? But at least you guys have this. So this will let you know if your message, if it says failed to send and you don't see it up there, then it didn't send. No, you're good. You're doing amazing. Thank you so much for engaging. Shano said, I just want to move to a new angle, but animation goes back and forth with A and D, so the thing I'm looking at moves due to being animated. You can go to hotkeys and take off all hotkeys, and it still does it. What? My friend who's an expert, Godot, reported the issue as he said that shouldn't be happening. Is he the one that submitted the small fix and got banned? That'd be terrible. This and this. Talk. Good. I have to ask him. I'm joking about it, but I hope it isn't. Yeah, so what am I doing wrong? We are in social links, and I have a UL that is display flex, and I have a gap of 2 because wait, how does that even work? List style none, margin 0, padding 0. How? Oh, that's other layout. Oh my gosh. This layout. Okay, fine. Hello, TBD Gamer. Welcome in. Great stream this morning. I wanted to pay full attention, of course. I always want to pay full attention, but my attention is typically divided, as I am at the beginning of my workday. But shout out to TBD Gamer. If you are interested in .NET Dev, then you will love his streams. They are awesome. He is working on a project management, project planning application called Liquid Sky currently. And that's the one that I was referring to earlier, where he is intending for this project to be a product eventually. So he is developing it with that in mind. You're seeing professional software development on his stream. So yeah, check him out. Really cool stuff. And he works in technologies that I don't work in, as well as technologies that I do work in. So we both do C# with our .NET stuff. We have a front-end component and a back-end component. He's doing his front-end in Angular, and he also uses different technologies for like events, event sourcing, queuing, messaging, all of that stuff. It's really cool. Okay, I said it, didn't I? I've been lurking since start, but was talking with Mojo and Dota in a great discussion. Awesome, that's really cool to hear. It's so cool that you have such an active community on your Discord. So yeah, definitely check out TBD's Discord as well if you're interested in a more active community. It's not like super duper active, but you do have the opportunity to hop into voice channels more often. Mine were pretty quiet most of the time, so yeah. I do encourage it. It's just that I'm not big on hopping into a voice channel room while I'm at work doing my job, unless it's to ask someone for help with a thing, which I did earlier today. Anyway, I'm trying to go to TBD's channel so I can go into his description so I can get the social link for his Discord. Got it. Last time. So that's TBD's Discord. TBD's Discord. Oh, did I actually create a... I did. Created a command. Water drink water is a little out of date in this command. Maybe I should update that soon. Maybe developers.stream will be a thing someday, and you can just update your own description that gets shouted out. But water drink water is still an open source project that he has, and I'm sure he would take pull requests and stuff, but that's kind of winded down a little bit as he's doubled down his focus on Liquid Sky. And yeah, need to do some planning on that. Looking for thoughts and ideas on that too. I like the idea that streamers can submit their own descriptions of their stream. Of course, that would have to somehow be moderated so that they aren't putting explicit content if you don't want explicit content there. They can add tags to their stream that say C#, Blazor, project, pretty much the same types of tags they would use in Twitch for the type of content that they stream, and open it as an API that other people can have their bots point to and say, give me the list of current streamers, and if any of them are joining my channel, then find their description in that list of streamers list and shout them out with that description. Napalm says, been working on my fishing tracker. First official Blazor app for me, doing it Aspire style. Got the Google Maps control working last night. That is so cool. That sounds fun. Very fun. If you couldn't tell, I like Blazor projects. I just like projects in general. I will encourage anyone who's working in any programming language, any technology, to just start a project. Enjoy it. If it's not going the way that you want, if it's too frustrating, drop the project. I whacked the Orleans side of it. Did I tell you the story that, oh gosh, and now I can't even remember his name. It starts with an R, I think. Anyway, he was in our chat and he's like, have you heard of Orleans? Orleans? Or however it's pronounced? I'm like, no, I haven't had a need to use it. And he is like the project manager for it, or the product lead, or one of those important titles, and I didn't even know it. I'm like, wait, I know your name. I just saw a video with you talking about this product a couple days ago. I just felt it was, yeah. Gosh, I can't think of his name right now. It's been such a long time. Okay, where are we? I spaced this out. I added padding to the footer. It looks good-ish. Still need more content in the footer. But I think we're going to call that good for this style. I did say that there's some weirdness happening in the header, but that seems to have gotten resolved through some of the things that we were doing. And at the widest, still works. And then the thing that I'm afraid of is, since I don't have a limit on the image size, it's just going to keep growing as I make the the window take up 3 monitors. It was Napalm is continuing to say, it was making my side project progress too slowly, honestly. And if it goes too slow, I lose interest. It would frankly be a good problem to need Orleans in the future. It would mean it has a lot of adoption. In other words, premature. So in other words, you're saying that you were accounting for scalability a little too early. Like too high of a scalability threshold. Add a shoe to the footer. That's a great idea. Thanks, Duka Duka Duka. And nerding out on the shiny object thing. Definitely understand. Okay. I'm going to call this good. I do would like. No, I'm not going to call it good. I don't like whatever's happening down here at that viewport size. Gosh, how am I going? Man, how ni hao? I need to figure out what the correct approach for sizing images based off of viewport size is. Do I do a different set of breakpoints for image sizes? So I'll do some research on that after we fix this footer issue. If you spend your time fighting those kinds of things, it keeps you from delivering the compelling stuff, says Napalm. Man, there was something that I saw recently. Oh, it was about in simple terms, it was about a scientific research project, and the person was like, because you are in most scientific research areas needing to get the grant and the funding from other places, you kind of have to only do the studies in safe things. And safe things are usually boring. And the interesting things you rarely are able to get funding to be able to do. The interesting and fun and all that. So when you're thinking about that in software development terms, it's like you want to do all of these cool things with the new technology and use them and do the research for it, but R&D isn't where money is made. Product development is where money is made. And so you just kind of have to go with the boring, let's just do the things that we know and that we can do quickly and that work and have been tested, and leave all that other stuff for if we have time, which it's not often that you can have time for that, which is sad. In my opinion. I couldn't help it. Okay, footer. We need a shoe for this footer, says Dukasoft. Where was that weirdness happening? It was when I have it here. Okay, so at the largest possible size is where we want this to look good for the footer. Napalm says, oh, another thing people might find interesting. I don't know where was came from. I wanted to do front end first, but as you might have guessed, you probably want an API. Wire mock in Aspire is a great way to punt on that, so you can build the visual part first if you want. So it mocks up your API backend. I mean, like, the reason that I would have chosen to do backend in that case first is because I prefer it, and having to think about UI is not very enjoyable for me. But that said, I was the thing that I talked about on Friday with TBD and Thindle. I started UI first for that because I was like, I want to know what the UI would look like for the people that are importing files and wanting to map it to known database fields, which I then turn into yeah, it was mentioned, which I then refined and kept refining, and I got to the point where I was like, okay, now I'm ready to do the back end part for real, which is let's make this ETL is essentially what it boils down to, ETL system with a rules engine for transforming the values, the source values, to destination values. So if I didn't say so already, Thindle and TBD, thank you so much for your input. Again, I used the things that I pulled out from it, and I was able to get pretty far on it this morning. Because like I said, I dropped it on Friday at the end of the day. Wasn't going to get back to it until here. I kept swearing and saying words like I don't know if I'm allowed to say that out loud. If you don't want to cause harm, don't say it, says Thindle. Thindle is another fantastic streamer. Shout out. He works in .NET as well. As I was just saying, the majority of the people that I lurk on their channel, they're game devs. Like right now, the 4 people that I have selected are Clay, who's trying to finish up his jam, Dragon Spirit Games, who's working on his game Gaia, which is named after his daughter. If you're interested in that, definitely check him out. He's working in Unity. Woodstav, who honestly I've never really paid full attention to his streams. I just like having him on because he feels productive. It's really cool. Anyway, and Nurkmind. But yeah, those 2 I believe are both doing Journ Jam stuff. And yeah, that's who I am currently lurking on. But if I do see someone like Visual Studio or Thindle, just anyone else that I know is an app developer, I tend to hop over to their channels. Have you heard Clay and Company's intro audio? Black Mage did something crazy on there. I haven't, because I have him turned down quite a bit. He has just a couple of sound alert things that I'm just not a fan of, and they pull me out of flow. So his stream is often turned down. I do love watching him work as well. But yeah. TBD said, I worry about UI driving database design over informing. That's a good thought statement. I wonder. I haven't even considered that for what I do. Because really, now that I am taking time to consider it, now that you've said it, I think that because I went UI first and then I turned that into the rules engine, the thing that I did with the rules engine was I started with the database store, which I don't think I should have started there. I should have started with the transform this data set into, or transform this imported data that got turned into a data set into a target type, and then decide how I want to save that instruction for how to do that to the database, and then create the database structure. But I did go database first, and I based it on the things that I had in the UI that I would want to send to the API to be saved to the database. I think I got trapped into that by myself. Napalm said to TBD, probably a better way to phrase it. That's what I meant. Oh wait, you said a thing? My view was, I don't know what I want the data to look like. The front end will inform the design of the database. Trying not to say data. You guys seem to prefer data. Give it a JSON file, a URL path, and wait, did I completely miss? Oh yeah, cool. No, that was it. It was just the way to mock it up is JSON and a URL path. That's awesome. That sounds really easy. And I'm not constantly buffering anymore. Yay. Okay, Thindle said the Clay intro thing. I responded to that. Napalm responded to TBD. TBD said, you said inform. I think that's the right way to do it. Extend voiceover for their game. Oh, cool. It sounds epic. I'll most likely hear it when Irish John is reviewing the games. Maybe. I don't know. Ixov says, wondering how to tell my boss that I can't keep adding plugins to our WordPress site. She wants really specific functionality. I'm not a PHP dev, so that's obviously hard to deliver on. I'm also not that experienced, so creating my own huge site from zero is kind of off the table as well. So how do you tell your boss? With honesty. That's my initial response without thinking too in depth about it. Like, the main point is to say, I can deliver this. However, it will take longer because I will need to learn how to do XYZ. My strengths are in these areas. That's probably how I would approach that. That might be a good compromise for the both of you. Maybe. I don't know. Thindle says, you design your databases. I just shoot from the hip and see if anything hits. Oh, I do a lot of design. Like, it doesn't look like I do design because it's not usually on paper. But the project that I showed you on Friday, which I said I'm not going to open, did have like the I used Entity Framework Core Power Tools to create the diagram, the database diagram, so that I could visualize it and be like, yes, this is how I want the templating engine to store data. This is correct. And I needed to verify it, and I did. And it worked. And my brain was happy with it. And then Napalm said to Thindle, bad. Write your ERDs. Yes. Or at least have EF Core design it for you, or create the design for you. Thindle said to Napalm, I used to have EDMXs, but someone took them away from me. EDMX was a mistake. It was simple, though. The Napalm says, except on merge requests. And Thindle responded, real non-defined gender people don't merge, they overwrite. Reg says, I started out in databases before going full stack. Database design is easy to me. That's where I started too. My college career ended with an enterprise databases for human resources solutions was what my final project was on. Because I love database design, relational database design. I am not very good at all at NoSQL type stuff. And it said to Dukasoft, crash it and say it's the plugin's fault. Napalm says, getting deep in here to Thindle. Oh yeah. And then Dukasoft says, wow. Reg9K says, my boss would ask, would it be possible? And then tell them the cost. Yeah. And that's kind of hard for some people to do because it's like, I really don't know how long this is really going to take me, but I do know my skill set. And I do know that one of the things that I'm going to need to do with this ask is research. I don't know how to do all of the things needed to get this done yet. So I need to do some research, and that needs to be factored into the time. How long will that research take until I learn it and I'm able to use it? Thindle said to Reg, kind of the same. I start building them, and in the end, they usually just work. Not saying they won't work, that might come later, but they usually work. TBD said to Duka, figure out cost of decently rated Fiverr WordPress consultant, double cost, double time, profit. Reg says to Thindle, exactly. And Napalm said, I am not saying I design out every column, but general entities and relationships between them, absolutely same. Although I do go into columns more closely than most, probably. I don't know about most, than some people do. Dukesoft said, I did have the talk about adding plugins once, but it doesn't stick that well. Might be me and my approach. We'll try. TBD Gamer. TBD says, enterprise equals more dysfunctional, hidden by more money. And Thindle said, plugins are both the blessing and the curse of WordPress. And Dukesoft said, totally agree, Thindle. This has been your chat reading for the past 5-10 minutes. Please continue to chat, and I will continue to read. At the same time as going footer, not other layout, we're going to give it a width of footer content width, and footer content width is going to be the same situation that we had in index. And we're going to do this min. I don't know if you can use min directly in width. Can you? Let's try. Wait, where did this width unset come from? Read this. Now this. Done. Thindle said, I had a boss who had the title Enterprise Architect. I was of the opinion that he'd never been anywhere close to an enterprise system. Or girls. That was probably in response to something where I said one specific gender, maybe? Oh, he said, thanks, guys. Okay. He was adding to his own statement. I don't like WordPress, says Reg9K. Every site it produces looks like every other. But is that really a bad thing? Have you ever thought, what if we took the visual appeal out of websites when it comes to web applications and just make them completely utilitarian? The only thing that matters is consistency across all websites and ease of access of information. I need to answer this. Gomenasai. Okay. And I said non-gender defined people earlier. Reg9K said, again, plugins and templates. Or no, Thindle said to Reg9, again, plugins and templates. Napalm says, I don't know, I think we're slipping down a path here, so coding. we could definitely come back to software related stuff. You can always roll your own, but people usually don't. Plugins, PHP stuff. That's what Bootstrap did for design 10 years ago. Suddenly everything looked like a Bootstrap site because they were. Yeah, true. And you could see that Bootstrap trademark. I don't know. It's not really trademark, but you could tell when a site was using Bootstrap. That 12-column layout, the nav bar with the underline, title, and then links and stuff. But then that just became the standard. This doesn't seem to be doing anything. Footer content width unset. Maybe I don't want width unset. Where am I even setting width unset? Section. Wait, no. This is getting width unset and it's not a section. This is footer content. Here. And this is in narrow footer, right? I don't want that here. Maybe I do want it in the mobile view. There. That's good. And then it's really, really hard to keep track of what's happening to it from here because of the size changes of everything else. Yeah, and it'd be nice if we had a little bit more gap, but it still looks good in mobile view is what matters. Here, grid template, and then we have gap 0, row gap. Let's just see what a font size does. I like it. Keeping it. Okay, I am more happy with that than I was before. Not super thrilled, but just more happy. More happy. Maybe just a little bit more padding at this size, and then I'll be good. So padding. At this size and up. And I don't know why I'm doing characters for padding instead of font sizes. Yeah, that's probably what was weird before. So top, right, bottom, left. Save. Okay. All right. We're going to call that good. I am going to commit this for now. And we'll move on to any of the other quirky, weird shenanigans after I think we were going to look at picture resizing next. So let's commit. More updated styling for responsiveness. It's too big of a commit is what this thing is trying to tell me. Okay, I am going to commit and push this because I am, like I said, happy-ish with it. So it'll be updated on the actual repo if you're interested in seeing where we are. You can see the repo here. It's open source. We're in a branch called task/52-revamp-layout. And we're going to work on the picture resizing as we change the viewport size so that it's not so linear and just, I don't like it. I don't like it. Okay. This is what it looks like in mobile. So I'm happy with that. Am I happy with this? I'm happy with this. Yeah. All right. Catching up on chat then. I believe I was here. That's what Bootstrap did. Suddenly everything looked like a Bootstrap site because they were. Or jQuery UI. I don't remember using jQuery as a framework, as a UI framework. I definitely used jQuery because I liked the syntax much better than vanilla JavaScript. It felt like there were a lot more helper functions that you could use for targeting elements, especially in the query selector realm. So selecting an element based off of just typing CSS. And I really liked that. But then I was like, It's really heavy and it takes a long time for my app to load. How do I do this in vanilla JavaScript? So then I was doing everything in vanilla JavaScript and I loved that. And I was like, I don't want to use jQuery anymore. I want to use fetch. I want to use document.query selector when that came out. And I liked it more. I liked it a lot more. Oop, pushed a button. Then Thindle said, rounded corners and most often 100% default color scheme. Yeah, very like I think the reason that I used Bootstrap initially was because it's what was in the Microsoft templates for a new MVC app. But the reason that I used the default colors was because it was really hard to override the color scheme and I had no idea what I was doing. Yeah, I'm gonna leave it at that. Then Napalm said, or you could see the designer said Bootstrap bad and made the backend person write the CSS that wasn't as responsive as one would hope. Yeah, I started dropping Bootstrap and like, I don't want to use a CSS framework ever because I can't control it. And if I can't control it, then that means that I can't customize it the way that I want, or it's really hard for me to do that. I'd rather just struggle with starting from scratch. And that's when I started my CSS and no JavaScript library journey. That was my motivator. Thindle said, making JavaScript make sense before JavaScript copied features from jQuery so that JavaScript would finally make sense. True. That. Reg said to Thindle, jQuery and Angular 1.8.3. Napalm said, anyone remember jQuery unobtrusive validation in EF? That was nifty. I think I remember that. I can't tell you for sure, but I may have an app, the single read HR site app that used it. TBD Gamer says, I tend to cast those dark times to the back of my memories. Thindle said to Reg9K, Angular JS. Napalm said, Angular JS directives were always such a cluster flag. Thindle said, jQuery did tons of good stuff when it came out. In my opinion, it gets more hate than it deserves today. True, but it's a lot easier to get around with vanilla JavaScript these days. True, I agree with that statement wholeheartedly. Napalm said to Thindle, so did PHP, but those times are behind us. And Thindle said to Napalm, PHP outgrew itself. TBD said, so you're saying I shouldn't be a professional PHP developer? You should. In my opinion, so did WordPress, but that's not a popular opinion in all circles. There's my project. I don't remember what I was talking about. Oh, because I was doing the commit. Man, that was a long time ago. Napalm said to TBD, nah, make it rain however you can, bring in the money. Just don't take the money. You can be. Thindle said to TBD, you can be, but I feel sorry for you. Oh, about being a PHP developer. I know a COBOL programmer, to each their own. Is ish a technical term? You better believe it. Yes. If you hear someone saying ish, you know that they are in an elevated position, because that just means, you know, they've gotten there. They are there. No. It means I have no idea what I'm talking about. TBD says, me too, Thindle. It means that I'm really not happy with the UI, as happy as I want to be if I want to make this product worthy, you know? Reg9K says, Fortran, you can make good money. Thindle said, I skipped some things. Thindle said, I think you can make more bank in COBOL than PHP, though. And then there was something about ABAP. Napalm said, I wrote ABAP for God's sake. It paid well. I don't know what ABAP is. You just triggered my SAP. So I use SAP products. I used to be a How do you say that? I used to work in SaaS products. That is not SaaS that we know, but SaaS the SAP. Was SaaS a SAP product or was SAP a SaaS product? Anyway, I worked in business objects. That's what I'm trying to say. And I loved it. I really, really enjoyed it. Satan's accounting program for 6 years of my career. I'm going to catch up on chat on this screen, but that's where we're ending today. Okay, so Reg9K says, Fortran, you can make good money. TBD said, I would take a pay cut to get back to .NET Dev most days. I love .NET Dev. I am really enjoying the stuff that I'm doing, and I'm excited to get back to it very, very soon. Yeah. I'm doing a source generator, like I said at the top of the stream, and remembering how to do source generators and not needing to reinvent the wheel, but instead use code that I've already written that I no longer have access to. So I asked a friend for help with that, and they very, very kindly helped me this morning. It was awesome. TVD said, for me, it's 100% not all about the money. Verified even, spelled correctly. Verfid. Vendel said there were some nifty things in jQuery UI, but I think most people just used small parts of it. Duka said, I would rather be happy with my work and get less money. Absolutely. Vendel said, I know I did. Napalm said to me, did you ever have to parse an XML tree with the DOM? Yeah, you don't know the pain then. I don't know. I can't recall having to do that. I can recall needing to grab the raw HTML and write my own parser for it because I didn't know that there were ways that you can turn that into, use pretty much an XML reader that already existed. But this was, again, Microsoft Access VBA, and I was scraping websites at the time. Duke said, just thinking out loud, how do I avoid having my boss tell me to learn PHP? You say, my area of expertise lies more in the logical programming done using C#, as well as using existing plugins for WordPress sites and not writing my own. How's that? Dindle said, if I recall, there was a site where you could change your settings and it output a custom Bootstrap CSS for you. Yes, definitely. And I think it still exists, kind of like what Progress has for Kendo. This isn't a Progress advertisement site stream, just so you know. I know that you're a champion, but and Duke said, that could work. Don't use EF, just use SQL Client. I love my EF. I love my code first EF, but I will still use EF. SAP was a terrible product, is a terrible product. I haven't used it since then. Yeah, SAP, not SAP. Sorry, minor twitch. Actually, Thindle, it's good at what it does. Just don't ever plan to get rid of it. Exactly. Once you start using it, like again, when the integration of business objects to the data that you have and being able to write custom queries and actually have software be like, let the user specify what columns and stuff they want to see and then generate this report based off of the underlying multiple data systems. Because again, I was working in enterprise database systems. So we had multiple systems that lived in different places that were all just sewn neatly together using this SAP solution. SaaS solution, whatever. TVD said to Duka, I'd say this needs to be done in PHP. I'm not a PHP developer. You get what you pay for. Thindle said it tries to do everything. Then you can mod it to do anything, which means that consultants make a lot of money and then everything breaks when there's an update. But if you run vanilla, it just works great. Napalm said to Thindle, my company bought an empty SAP box and built all their apps on ABAP. But why would you run SAP if you don't mod it? Dukasoft said to TBD Gamer, that's true. Napalm said so. None of the standard ERP stuff. Retail product thing, enterprise retail, something or other. Thindle said, I wrote my own spa using Ajax calls, aka SOAP, and then transforming it with XSLT back in 2008. It was just a little bit fancy. It sucked, but it was fancy, and I had a customer pay for it. Awesome. Napalm said to Thindle, best practices. Businesses run SAP. It works for them. You should run your business this way. Very German mindset. Thindle said, my workplace back then was kind of a kid's playground. Kind of. Dukasoft said, thanks, that might work. Thindle said, I know it's not. I just compared it. TBD says to Thindle, oh, you're one of those people that leaves your fancy crap here so other poor sap, for some other poor sap to come along and be like, why? Other things exist. That would be me, TBD. I think I fall into that category. I like to build stuff from scratch because it's very highly customizable and we have full control over it. And the existing things are harder to customize, even though they do exactly what we need to do, no more, no less. But what if in the future we needed to do more? Oh, I'll excuse myself. Since both are terrible to style manually, said Thindle. Thindle said to TBD, nothing else existed though, not as a library/framework. We're talking 2008, might even have been 2007. TBD said, fair enough, cutting edge times. My memory that time is rough. I was doing a lot of mobile, really, in 2007 and 8. Man, I was doing desktop apps and maybe some web apps, but mostly desktop apps. Enterprise resource planning, my bad. Then TBD said, and in 2009, 2010, I was building Salesforce. Well, I didn't know Salesforce would launch right as I had completed the first phase of the project, and they dropped 2 years of work, starting my career. Then I said, compared, terrible, to style, bootstrap, that other product. I know what you meant. TBD said, at this point, I should just tell people, don't have me build software. You'll scrap the project anyway. And that's, I'm going to respond to that one because I kind of like that feeling. I'm going to build this thing knowing full well that it may never get used. It may get scrapped pretty quickly. But I had fun creating it. I enjoyed it. And Thindle said to TBD, Vitica will bring you on. Anyway, that is the end of my stream. I will be back again on Wednesday around the same time. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you guys enjoyed yourselves. I enjoyed reading your chat. Thank you all for contributing to that conversation. Yeah, what was I going to do? I was going to do !YouTube because I post the VODs for this to YouTube at some point in the future. Anyway, I will just type out my YouTube address. youtube.com/@11dlion. So if you're ever interested in seeing the VOD, let me just make sure that is the right one. You can hop into YouTube and see a playlist that has all of our live streams since the beginning of this project and community days and stuff, but don't expect too much because I talk a lot during the streams and work a little, and it's mostly just conversation and good times with you guys. Check out TBD, check out Thindle. Thindle said he's probably going to be streaming on Tuesday if he doesn't stream today. Yeah, okay, just logged in, so hello and goodbye. We are going to raid someone that I rarely ever raid because he's usually asleep by now, but he's trying to finish his Jern Jam. We're gonna raid Clayman, and I'm even having trouble typing his name, Dev. And yeah, we'll see what he's up to. See if he's gonna win at what he's doing. Oh, it's so creepy. Okay, ciao for now. Oh, feel free to join our Discord. I don't know what's up with my bot. It was probably that whole thing where everything disconnected, but I don't think it's going to give us this command unless I restart the bot. Yeah, oh well. You can find the Discord link somewhere in the description on the Twitch VOD or in the socials on YouTube video. Ciao. See you later. It was a dad joke. 2 dad jokes. 2 muffins were sitting in an oven. I'm not going to have enough time to read this. And the first looks over to the second and says, "Man, it's really hot in here." Second looks over at the first with a surprised look and answers, "Whoa, a talking muffin." That's terrible. And the second joke, "Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honey combs." And thank you for posting the link. Ciao.